estate, either as an investor or buyer, or someone who wants to just have a home to live in, or you just want to buy land and hold and keep. Very interesting place. So in this video today, I'll be telling you about land prices in different parts of Abuja, what you should have in mind, the amount you should have in mind when you want to buy real estate, buy land, especially in Abuja, the different places and what they cost. Okay, I'm going to, by the end of this video, you're able to know how much to have in mind when you want to buy land from different parts of Abuja. If you're just watching my channel for the first time, my name is Roy. I'm a real estate expert and consultant in Abuja. I help you get safe, reliable, and profitable land, houses, and apartments off plan or fully finished right here in Abuja. That is what I do. And I make the process super easy for you. Right, so let's get straight into this. A lot of people say that Abuja is, very expensive. That you can't buy land here. You can't buy land, and even if you want to buy, you must have at least 100 million naira and above, or even 1 billion. That is not for people who don't have anything less than 1 billion. Don't believe that, because there are actually places in Abuja, not the FCT, inside of Abuja, where you can get land for as low as 4.7 million, 5.8 million, and these are FCDA approved properties. So it's not just, Abuja is not just a marketplace for those who have the billions. No, you can actually have your 10 million naira and get a good plot right here in Abuja. And just so you know, it's one of the best places to buy property in the whole of Nigeria. Why? Because the land administration here, the land laws here, when you buy rightly, you're preserved for a lifetime. As long as you own that land, no issues. As long as you buy rightly from an FCDA approved, by an FCDA approved plot, you have no issues. Issues only come up when you buy wrongly. Once you buy right in Abuja, unlike other states in Nigeria, where you can actually buy wrong and still go wrong later, where you can actually buy right and still go wrong later. But with Abuja, if you buy right, you have bought right, and you have the real peace of mind we're talking about here. So let's dive right in. Let's dive right in. So Abuja is actually a place for everyone, right? Whether you have billions or millions, I've said that already. So what makes the price of land differ in different places is the developmental phases of Abuja. Okay, I won't say if you don't know, Abuja is divided into different phases. There's the phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these phases, some phases are more expensive than the other because of the level of development and the proximity to the 3-arm zone, to where Aso Rock is. So the ones that are closer to the 3-arm zone are often more expensive. And by the 3-arm zone, I mean the places that's just above the phase 1. I'm going to show you a map of Abuja, what it looks like. So the places that are like Maitama, Central Area, Gusape, Garki, these places are in the phase 1, and they are really quite pricier than other places that come down to the phase 2. So it's like Abuja is like an eye. Abuja is like an eye. Should I just show you right now? I think I should just show you right now what it looks like. So Abuja is like an eye. You can see correctly. So this right here is the map of Abuja, right? But right here, right now, should be the 3-arms zone, and right here is the phase 1 area. I'm blue is the phase 1, the gray area is the phase 2, green area is phase 3, pink area is phase 4, and yellow area is phase 5. So the way it is these areas are pricier than these areas, and these areas are pricier than here, these pricier than here. Like that, it flows down. But this is the map of Abuja, and I'm going to be telling you what you should have in mind when you want to buy land across these different areas right here in Abuja. So I've told you that. Let's get back into this. Beg your pardon, let me be sure that I'm still in frame and all. Okay. So yes, let's go right in. So I'll be breaking down the price for you right now. So if, excuse me, beg your pardon. If you have between, let me just say if you have, I'll just tell you the location and what the price should cost you. So in places like Asokoro, Maitama, the places I showed you in the phase one of Abuja, Maitama, Asokoro, Wuse, Garki, Kuzape, these places. When you want to buy land from these places, if you find genuine, a lot of people like to use these locations to scam people of their money. So you need to be careful when you're buying from these locations. So if you want to buy from these locations, you should have nothing less than 500 million naira. Oh yes. And in these areas, hardly will you find 150 square meters. By the way, in Abuja, yes, 150 square meter is actually is plot size. 150 square meters is the plot size for terrace duplexes. 150 square meters, 200 square meters are for terrace duplexes. 300 and up to 450 are for semi-detached. You can also use 450 for a 4-bedroom fully detached. And then 500 is for a fully detached 5-bedroom, 6-bedroom. Then 800 can also seat a fully detached mansionette, 7-bedroom, 8-bedroom can seat that. Then oftentimes 800, 1000 for block of flats. That's how it is here in Abuja. So in places, Maitama, Sokoro, Wuse, Garki, Gusape, these areas, you would see more of 500 square meter plus. The least can find is 200, and 200 you find in Gusape. But other places in Wuse, Garki, Maitama, Sokoro, you would not see. It's going to be difficult to find 200. You can find 500 square meters, 1000 square meters, and upward. And for a 500 square meter in any of these locations I've mentioned, you should budget to have at least 500 million naira for these places. And 1,000 square meters would sell as high as 800 million naira to 1.5 billion naira for a 800 to 1,000 square meters in these areas. So when you think of these areas you want to buy from there, you should have these prices in mind. And I'll just put this in, if except a legit distress sale, if someone comes to you with a location as a Sokoro or Kusape or Meitama and say they have a plot of 500 square meters there for 100 million naira, please run or do your due diligence very, very well to be sure. Right? It's rare, it's almost impossible to find land at that price. So moving on. So the next place we'll be looking at is places like Jabi, Jahi, Wuye, Otako, Mabushi, Kado, Kaura, Gadua, Dubois. These areas are in the phase two of Abuja, Katampe as well, Katampe main and Katampe extension. So these places are a lot more affordable than the phase one. However, you don't expect the price to be the same across all of these areas in the phase two, because in the phase two, some parts are more developed than the others. For instance, Wuye is more developed, a whole lot more developed than somewhere like Kaura, has better infrastructure than somewhere like Kaura and Jahi. So you don't expect like phase one that the prices in every place is almost the same, except for places like Asoko, because it's closer to the 3 arm zone where there's high security. It's often very pricey. But in the phase two, I'll just tell you what it should be like. In places like Chabi, Wuye, Otako, the square meter size, land size I'm using for all of my conversation going on is 500 square meter. So if you're looking to buy a 500 square meter plot in any of these places I just mentioned, you should be looking to have at least 300 million naira. At least 300 million naira. They can go as high as, for 500 square meter plots, you can also get it for as high as 800 million naira as well in these places. In Otako, if you see a 500 square meter plot for 400 million naira, 500 million naira, it's a good deal. But if you see 100 million naira, please run, except it's a verified distress sale. And also make sure it's FCDA approved. Oftentimes in these phases, they are often FCDA approved. So you're looking at Katampe, Wuye, Jabi, Utako, Katampe main, you get land here should be looking to have like 300 million naira for your 500 square meter plot at least. It can also go as high as 600 million, 800 million naira for your 500 square meter plot. But in Katampi extension, because it is still opening up to development, you can get 500 square meter plot that is FCDA approved for as low as 90 million naira, 80 million naira, 110 million naira, 150 million naira. Why? Because Katampe extension is still opening up, right, in Abuja. It used to be a part of the Buhari area council before, but it was cut out and added to Abuja Municipal Area Council. So it's still opening up. A lot of development is going on, but there are beautiful houses there and also great infrastructure, but it is still opening up. That is why you can see 500 square meter plots there for as low as 150 million, 90 million in some places, right? So it's very possible. But in other places, like if you see 50 million, 80 million naira for a 500 square meter plot, you're likely is super distressed or it's a scam. Nothing less than 200, 300 million naira in these other places. All right. So going on, in places like Gwarimpa too, or in the interior parts of Gwarimpa, Gwarimpa has the popular developed parts, like Fifth Avenue, Fourth Avenue, all those parts that are super developed. It's even almost impossible to see land in that place. But in other parts of Gwarimpa that are close to Karsana, matter of factly, by the original plan of Abuja way back when Abuja was being developed, the time of Babangida, Gwarimpa was actually a very big district. It was supposed to cover all the way. I wish I could show you the map now. From the map, Gwarimpa was supposed to go from where it is, cover all the way down somewhere called Zuba. Gwarimpa was meant to be a very big district in Abuja, but as development kept coming up, it was then divided from Gwarimpa 1 to Gwarimpa 2, and parts of Gwarimpa became Karsana and all of that. Okay, so for parts of Gwarimpa that are closer to get a 500 square meter plot in those places for as low as 80 million naira, 60 million naira, and 500 square meter plot. But oftentimes in those parts, I've realized that you hardly see 500 square meter. What you see in those areas are 700 square meter, 770 square meter, 800 square meter, and they sell for like 150 million. Okay, 150 million. I haven't seen the 500 square meter in Gwarimpa before, but I have seen 700, 750, 770, and 500 square meter plots are rare. They are very rare in that area, in the area of Gwarimpa. But if you're to find, should be around 60 is too little, let me say to be around 85 million naira to 100 million naira. But the ideal land size in parts of Gwarimpa is 770 square meters, 700 square meters, and they sell for 150 million naira. The least you can find is like 130 million naira upwards for a 500 square meter plot in Gwarimpa. Okay, that is FCDA approved. By FCDA, of course, these areas, Gwarimpa majorly has letter of intent, or what they call letter of allocation, right? That's major land title that covers that area. So you're looking to buy land there, you should have a budget of 100 million naira to be on the comfortable side. So if it falls a little below 100 million, you're good, right? A little bit above for areas in Gwarimpa, okay? So the next, lower than that, next place we're going to look at is, we're going to look at places in the phase 3 now, like Gwarimpa is actually in the phase 3, but it's the pricier part of the phase 3. Look at Dimawa, Lokogoma, and other places that is FCD approved, 500 plot, you can spend 50 million, 35 million naira here. In this place is a 500 square meter plot, you can, with 50 to 45 million naira, you can get a 500 square meter plot that is FCDA approved. So you see how it's coming down from 300 million, from 1 billion, 1.5 billion is coming down. You see, that's to let you know that there is actually, it's a vast market that can actually accommodate anyone that's genuinely interested in real estate. So in places like Karsana, you can get a 500 square meter plot with 35 million naira, 66 million naira, sorry, not 35 million, 66 million naira for a 500 square meter plot, 70 million naira. So in these places, you can budget from 60, 55 million naira upwards, but the least is like 55, 65 million naira. in Karsana, but still in phase 2. Like I said, it's not the same like phase 1 where you can literally compare the prices of every district there. In the phase 3, because development have really touched some parts and some parts are still opening up, in that same phase 3 is also where you see Shereti, you see Kabusa, you see there's one Dapo, Lokogoma, Galadimawa. They're all in these places. However, in Lokogoma, for instance, you can find a 500 square meter plot there for like 45 million naira, but most of the plots you have there are sold out. It's difficult now to find from a fresh developer buying straight. There are often people who have bought and want to resell, and you can find for like 55 million naira in Lokogoma. But in Shereti, you can find a 500 square meter plot for like 45 million naira thereabout. Kabusa as well, you can find for like 38 million naira, 40 million naira in these places. You see, that is what you can find. That's what is obtainable in these places. And someone is asking himself now, okay, what if I have a budget of like, what if I have 50 million now? Does it mean I can't buy anything at all in Abuja? I'm just working with 500 square meter plots right now. If you have like 15 million naira, you can actually get a 350 square meter or 300 square meter in Airport Road. You may not be able to find a 300 square meter for 50 million naira in Karsana, Gwarimpa, Lokogoma, maybe some parts of Lube you can find, but in these places, no. If you have like 15 million naira and you want to buy something that's bigger than, because I know most people have an issue with 150 square meter, which I don't know why. A 150 square meter plot can comfortably sit a 4-bedroom terrace duplex, but most people prefer something bigger, right? So if you want a 300 or 350 square meter, which can comfortably seat a semi-detached duplex, you then with 15 million naira, 60 million naira, you can get a 300 square meter in around Airport Road, right? I think currently Hutu, I don't know how much, I'll check. Hutu currently has a 350, 300 square meters, about 22 million naira. I think they're about, that's the price range for it. So you see, but if you have, yeah, also Bent Heaven now that's in Airport Road with 15 million now, you can get that 300 and something square meter. It's also that affordable right now, 300 and some 350 square meter, I think. So that is where you can get that amount. Okay? Yeah, and let me tell you why these, like now these places are really low. I'll tell you why they're like that. So because of somewhere like Airport Road now, infrastructure is still coming up there. Roads are still being constructed. They're not very open. You will see a lot of dusty roads and all. That is why they're available. But as infrastructure progresses, so does price and value appreciate. Okay, and another thing too is the ages factor. By ages, I mean, okay, the level of land registration that has gone on that particular property. For these other parts I mentioned, phase 1, 2, 3, they have been fully registered, most of them, so they're FCD approved. But in these other places, they are processing, they're still on the RFO going CFO, and some of them still have the mass housing. They've not yet processed it up to CFO. So because of this as well, the prices of these places are really low. And of course, like places that are closer to power, like the 3 Arm zone, the districts like Asokoro will say these places are more expensive because they are closer to power, right? And that is why. And finally, for someone who is asking, okay, so what's the next step I can take? What can I do? There are 3 categories of people I'm going to quickly talk to right now. So if you're the kind of person who likes to buy and hold, you want to buy and hold for some time, you don't want to build, you just want to buy and it appreciates for capital gain and maybe you sell off or whatever. Now you should be looking at places in the phase 3, right? Places like Karsana, you can get land there, you can buy and hold, or you can look at Airport Road as well. Because development is still coming in there, you can buy right now and hold it for some time. Even before the building approval is out, your property must have appreciated and you can resell if you want for capital gain, right? So you can look at places in Karsana, Airport Road axis, and parts of Idu as well, right? You can actually look at those places. The second category of people I will talk to is the quick flip people or developers. So these are areas where you can just buy immediately and experience a 40-30% appreciation in 6 months to 1 year, and then you sell off immediately. But for buy and hold people, it's a longer period, say 2 years, 3 years, right? So these people, if you are looking for where you can buy something from, you want to buy and see an appreciation in 1 year's max, look at places like Gozape and Katampi extension. Gozape 2, when they begin to do their full allocation and selling in Gozape 2, it's one place to look at for quick cash capital gain, right? In 6 months to 1 year. Katampi extension as well. These places see 30 to 40% appreciation in a time frame of 6 months to 1 year. Okay, and then for you, you want your homeowner, for somewhere you can buy to build a home, you can look at Gwarinpa, because Gwarinpa is just about 16 minutes away from city center. From by city center, I mean the likes of where Jabi is, where Uye, all those Wuse, the central is like 16 minutes away. And there are also good communities there. There's already a community existing in these places, and it also has good infrastructure. And Lube is coming up as well. So this is a place that's good for a young person that wants to own a home or relocate to Abuja. You want to buy land and start building something. You can look at these places. So you see, Abuja actually is a place that can accommodate anyone that wants to own property in Nigeria. So whether you're in Nigeria or you're outside of Nigeria, by watching this video, you can know what to have in mind that goes in line with your budget. Remember, I used as or what's the word again? There's a word I'm looking for. Anyway, I used the 500 square meter plot for this conversation for the different prices I mentioned, right? That was what I used. So it's possible you can actually buy into Abuja. It's one place to really hedge your money against inflation. So if you want to buy into Abuja, if you want to buy into any of these places, all you have to do is just send me a DM, and I'll give you a list of the verified estates that we have in these areas, and I'll send it over to you, and you can look at it and decide on what your next step would be. Thank you so much for watching thus far, and please do well to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and look for other videos here on the channel that can be profitable to you, and take the next action you need to take regardless. You don't have to buy from me. I just want to ensure that you have good information to help you buy rightly wherever you want to buy from in Abuja. If you already have someone you're working with, that's fine, but I just want you to be educated enough to make the best buying decision. So till I come your way the next time, keep being smart with your investment and smarter with your life. See you in the next one.